Morning guys, Thursday the 11th of June, a bit cooler, a bit breezier this morning, a bit greyer. Later on this evening, sort of late tea time, we'll be doing the online introduction to creating courageous coaching conversations with the Association for Coaching. So yeah, be interesting to see what my reflections are tomorrow. I think the one thing I have done, which I'm glad I have done, and I've made sure is I've not put anything in my diary today. I'm just going to give that, my coming up towards the event. I'm just going to give that most of my thinking time. Kind of a tendency that say, yeah, I'm going to create a space there, have a space there, and before you know it, things are in there, and work and clients and research and all sorts of stuff. So I have been very, very good, shall I say, on this occasion. I've not been tempted to put anything else in because I know how important it is to create that clear headspace. Oh, Willow's gone exploring. Oh, there she comes back out again. I think at some points as well, I'm gonna perhaps do a sort of short video on some of my thoughts about this whole focus piece at the moment, the big impact in across the world, not just the country. Well, on Willow, come on. Yeah, on Black Lives Matter, every life matters, and all the conversations that are going on around that. It's really, really interesting from the perspective that as a white working class female who was probably the first female, I think, I don't know how long, certainly, in our side of the family, the mum's side, to go to university, to, I suppose, educate myself in a way that I have done. I think, that was quite an achievement. But I've always seen myself as this working class person who certainly would never have considered the notion of me being born into having privilege. My perception of what that means was that I didn't really have a lot of privilege in that sense at all. In fact, I saw that we didn't have a lot of money. We sort of probably struggled on many levels financially. We never went without, I think, from being looked after food and clothes wise, but love, but certainly we didn't have a lot, where everyone else might have had, I don't know, the first washing machine, or the first video player, or etc, etc. We wouldn't be the first to have that at all. In fact, if I think about it, we'd certainly probably be last in the line with things like that, because there wasn't a lot of money. They're just not seen as priorities, really. So, I'm just, the whole concept of what it means to then have, if you like, the notion of white privilege. Yeah, well, is just really, I mean, up until fairly recently, if I'm really honest, I hadn't even really heard the term and the concept. It didn't really mean anything to me. Didn't understand the concept. And then I think as I still don't fully, don't get me wrong, but I understand enough now to know what it means. And I think then the notion of sort of getting your head around that other people see you as having this privilege compared to what they have in their background, and perhaps the opportunities that other people haven't had based on, for example, their colour. I've never really considered that notion of I automatically have more than, if you like. I've always thought, I'm sure we can all find somebody else that has more than, in so many respects if you compare your life to, but not on the level that we're, I think it's being talked about and discussed and shared at the moment. So, I think I need to sort of give it some thought and reflect and ponder a bit. I think it's one of those sort of areas where, like a lot of things in my life, I'm trying to understand and learn and be open and educate myself about, what that means for others and for, myself in the world. So it just needs to be given more thought, more time, more consideration, and more reflection. So there's the two questions sort of stand out in my mind at this point, really. It's like, well, so what does it mean to have white privilege, which is what I keep hearing, and also, I suppose, what does it mean to have privilege? Those two questions are sort of quite present and pertinent. So on that note, guys, have the rest of a great, let's say, thirst quenching Thursday, and I shall speak to you later. Bye.